And thanks so much for joining me again.
Great to talk to you, Alex.
You know, you were the last person I talked to on radio, and then when I was told I couldn't have you every day, I boycotted for 8 days, but now I'm back because... So, the new book, In Trump We Trust, E Pluribus, awesome, fantastic read. You guys must pick it up. We'll continue to promote the heck out of it at Breitbart News because it's important and entertaining. There are so few of us who can be important and entertaining, and but those of us who are listening to the show right now are listening to two such people right now. But I want to talk about the Trump immigration speech. You said it's the greatest speech of all time. Why do you say that?
There is nothing that... there's no quote that can be pulled out of context and that you would not have a majority of Americans agreeing with. I mean, it's only like...
Such a good point.
The editors at Gawker or the zealots at MSNBC who could find any problem with a single sentence there. It was phrased so beautifully. And as for specifics, I mean, for example, the idea that our immigration from now on, the immigration debate will take as its lodestar, is it good for Americans? Who could disagree with that unless you were some kind of crazed zealot at the New York Times and we're destroying the United States of America isn't, as they say, a bug, it's a feature. I mean, unless you just really hate the American people and want to replace them. And that was, his speech was shot through with that point. What I think has been driving a lot of sane people crazy over the last few decades is that when it comes to immigration and nothing else, the entire solar system has to revolve around the poor illegal immigrant. It's never around the poor American whose job is taken, whose emergency rooms are overrun, whose kids can't get jobs at McDonald's because you have to be able to speak Spanish. Whose kids' schools don't have money for the Christmas pageant this year because we're spending all of our money on English as a second language classes. The way he kept bringing it back to Americans, the sanctuary cities, for example, where was the sanctuary for Kate Steinle and the children or relatives of all those angel moms? Oh, and let's not forget that, as I believe Breitbart pointed out yesterday, this is the first time the media has so much as shown the parents of children who have been horribly murdered by illegal aliens. Only because Trump tricked them. Oh, and I do think the whole thing, it's part of, and I do describe this in my book, In Trump We Trust. A lot of times Trump will do something and I'll think, or at least at first, I'll think, I love him, wish he hadn't done that. And I've learned to say and tell my friends, just wait. Let's see how this plays out. Let's reconvene on this point, next week. And I think that's what he did with the softening. I mean, look, there were 3 major goals accomplished by that sort of vague hints and Kellyanne Conway saying there was softening and to be determined if anyone would be deported, and then Trump gets pushed by Hannity on whether he's softening. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Only because of that, and for one thing, it showed to Trump, wow. What is the upside of this? All of my enemies now can also attack me for being a flip-flopper, which is what they did. You see, ha, 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 we knew it all along. You can't trust anything this guy says. We had a week of that. So whomever was pushing him into this on the campaign, we've been reading about Roger Ailes, Sean Hannity, Giuliani, Chris Christie, whoever's bright idea it was to, appeal to soccer moms by taking back the idea that you'd be deporting anyone. I think that person will not be listened to anymore because the grassroots responded, and the grassroots responded thunderously. Point 2, and the most important point, is Trump tricked every cable news station into covering his speech live and the entire speech, and finally, even through the angel moms, we don't have CNN cutting away.
And this is why I love having you on. I know we could do, I have an hour worth of follow-up questions just based on that. But let's talk about, first of all, the media reaction. And this is how you know it was a success. Even the Clinton News Network could not cut away from the Angel Moms. And they must have been dying when they realized that we can't justify it. It's simply too compelling what's going on right now. And it is a change in the American life that we're witnessing before our eyes. We're witnessing realignment of values, and we're witnessing the popularization of a lot of the values that you and I have been fighting for a long time. It kind of, in a quixotic effort in many ways, given the media is stacked against us to such a degree. Things are changing. They had no clue how to react to his Mexico trip. They have no clue how to react to his immigration speech. All they can do is snipe at him because he didn't honor his claim to be softening.
Well, you are absolutely right. And although I cannot recommend that anyone turn on television, and in fact...
I don't either, for the record.
You ought to get your friends, if you want to help Trump, get your friends V-chips so that they can't watch cable news. Get them, I don't know, a stack of Agatha Christie's or something so they'll stop reading the newspaper. Because for people who are so confident and, sneering at Trump's chances, oh my gosh, they are hysterical. I've never seen anything like this. I think we're up against satanic forces. And you're absolutely right. They don't know, they didn't know what to say. And what was funny about watching some of the responses is they're giving completely contradictory responses. I mean, even on a single network, which sets the standard in, zealotry and anti-Trump hysteria, MSNBC, you'll get 1 hour on, it was awful, it was dark, it was Hitlerian, I'm going to cry. And then the next hour will be, he's softening, ha, 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 he took you for a ride. They haven't gotten together and decided what the lie will be that they will push to attack what Trump is doing. Well, is he softening or is he Hitler?
Breitbart News Daily. Breitbart News Daily, Alex Marlowe here with Ann Coulter. And did you ever buy that he was going to soften?
Not much when I saw the full what was happening in that full interview and the week. I mean, the night my book came out, I was going on Hardball, and they passed me just that paragraph, the quote from the Hannity show, using all of the Gang of Eight lingo. And look, no, I thought I didn't think so, but still, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to give some constructive criticism, because I don't think saying things like that, it wasn't so much that I thought he was softening as that I thought he was being pushed into saying things that would please campaign consultants and would not help him during the election. So he needed a little constructive criticism. But no, it just makes no sense from long before he ran for president, and this is an important point in Trump we trust. He can make some mistakes here and there. He's not a politician. We like that about him. The one thing his life is shot through with is wanting to put Americans first and genuinely liking average workaday Americans. Working class Americans, patriotic Americans. He's just a super patriot, and it makes total sense that if you look at the tweets he was sending out, for example, when Fox News and Marco Rubio were hysterically pushing amnesty in 2013, I quoted some of them in one of my columns a while back, but it was just tweet after tweet. What are you doing? GOP, you're committing suicide. Please think about the country. Just one after another attack in his tweets, attacking the Gang of Eight. That's 3 years ago. So he does put America first, and simultaneously with that Hannity interview, where he was being pushed into it, he wasn't the one coming up with those words. That's what Hannity was asking him about. Hannity was reverting to the Gang of Eight lingo, legerdemain, lies, and it was more like that time Chris Matthews was badgering Trump to say that there would be some form of punishment for a woman who has an abortion. It's not like, Trump, and I thought Trump's answer was great. Yeah, there's punishment for me if I double park. Give me a break here. But still, it wasn't like Trump held a press conference women should be punished for having an abortion. He was being pushed into it.
Well, but I think we've been effective because I think people get that the media is on the take for the Clintons at this point. You raise a huge point, which is that Trump has been hammering that he is not that he's even anti-immigrant, is that he's America first, is that he wants to put Americans ahead of people who are not yet Americans and not the other way around, which is what the left does now, is literally put immigrants ahead of American citizens. That'll probably play out in Detroit. Ann Coulter, the book is In Trump We Trust. E pluribus, awesome. And we have 1 minute left in the segment. Last question for you is, what do you make of Trump the diplomat?
Oh my gosh, that was amazing! When I got home that day, I tweeted out, I think he can skip this Phoenix speech and just start planning his transition team. I mean, that was more what I was expecting from the convention. I know everyone said it, but he did look presidential. He gets on a plane, flies straight down there. It reminds people, he's a billionaire because he's a really good negotiator. Wouldn't it be great to have this guy negotiating for us?
Amen, Ann. Well, we have to leave it there.